All right. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, guys. Welcome back to Wake Up America, your daily American English pronunciation show, where we just help you get your daily pronunciation practice because this is the key to pronunciation is consistency. It's showing up every day and practicing. You may have noticed, for instance, my voice is not what it should be doing right now. I feel fine. It's just I have a bit of a sinus infection that is working its way down. But this is part of it, right? It's showing up every day just for a couple minutes. And that's what we're going to do again here today. If you don't know who I am, my name is Jeff. It rhymes with breath, which is one of the four keys to a natural sound in American English pronunciation, including placement, pitch, breath, and trying to weaken your consonant sounds. These are all the things you need to do to sound natural in American English, not so much about mouth position. What we're going to do today is we're going to look at some audio from a native speaker who did a mock IELTS test. And we're going to listen to what are some of the pronunciation things that she's doing. It is taken from our pronunciation channel. If you go to youtube.com/@Fluent American Shadowing, I have a shadowing channel where basically I just expose you to different native speakers. I show you the words they say. I identify for you where the pauses are. I tell you where the stressed words are. And that's basically where this audio is going to be taken from. In case you haven't seen our shadowing channel before, this is what it looks like. Okay, so you can see every video has a different group of native speakers you can use to practice with. If you don't want video, you want audio, you can also go to our podcast. If you go to fluentamerican.com, up top you'll see pod, and there will be an audio version. Today's stream is also, of course, brought to us by our pronunciation group on Telegram. So in this group, people can send in their own audio files, and I give corrections for it every single day. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So if that sounds like something you would like, because today during the stream, one of the issues is I won't be able to hear you, and so I won't be able to give you feedback. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, you would like to actually get feedback from a professional coach every day of the week, well then that's what the group is for. Couple people checking in on me. I appreciate you. Evgeny has been very kind. I feel fine. It's just, again, my throat's not 100% yet, but we're getting there. And John says, well, John, well, thank you. All right. One last quick update before we take a look at our exercise. And hello to Dynamite. Dynamite, light it up. That's like your name. I'm good. How are you? One last thing before we take a look at our exercise. We have a lot of things that are close to closing. Just to note, our Telegram group itself only has 6 spots left. Our Mission English program, where we do daily pronunciation classes twice a day, that only has 7 spots left. And then the big thing is that our pronunciation course on November 6th, that only has 2 spots left currently. In case you don't know, our consonant course, we're looking at the hardest consonants in American English, like an L, an R, a T, and an N. And we're showing you strategies to make sure that your consonant sounds are not impacting your vowels, because a lot of people are having that issue. And I want to make sure that we're not one of them. So check out that course as well. There are only 2 spots left. That will be on November 6th, 10 a.m. New York, for that class. So again, sign up for that if that sounds like something you would be interested in. Okay. All right. What is this? So there's something going on about a doghouse, and I am not familiar with that. I'm also not familiar with interactive English. There are so many English channels out there. Interactive English is a new one for me. Um, but anyways, like I said, my main focus today is I want to just kind of look at some pronunciation from a native speaker who took an IELTS test. And again, if you want to look at the full video, you can go to fluentamerican.com youtube.com/fluentamerican shadowing, and you can find the full video. Okay, so the full video will be able to be found here. But let's find our audio. Okay, so I will need my headphones for this. And what we're going to do, we're going to listen to their audio, and I'm just going to highlight a couple things for you based on what I hear that I think you can start applying to your own pronunciation as well. There will be an examiner, and then there will be the test taker, who again she speaks American English. She's from Canada. And we'll be focusing on her English. So let's find where she is.
Play for you a section from an interview.
Maybe go for a swim or go for a jog.
There's actually a lot here. Play it again.
Maybe go for a swim or go for a jog.
Okay, so one of the things that she's doing very effectively is she's using contrast through speed. Notice what words she says faster and what words she says slower.
Maybe go for a swim or go for a jog.
So notice that she says like maybe, she holds that longer. Then she says go for it, and that's a little faster. It's like maybe, go for it. And then she gets to her stressed word. She says swim, and she holds it. It's like go for a swim, maybe, go for a swim, maybe.
Maybe go for a swim or
go for a swim. So this is a really key part of American English is we can't say every word at the same speed. Even what I just said right there, right? We can't say every word at the same speed. Words that we want to emphasize in general, we are going to do slower. So we want to slow down the pace.
maybe go for a swim or go for a jog.
And then that next part, you don't see it, or go for a jog. Maybe go for a swim or go for a jog. So notice that in that second part, we don't get as much of that. And that's okay, because we don't need to slow down every stressed word. We don't need to slow down everything. It's just where we want to place extra emphasis. So that's one huge strategy that I do not see a lot of people who learned English using. There's a tendency for English learners to pronounce everything at the same pace. Let's take a look at another part.
And have a good chat. Maybe go for coffee with my friends and have a good chat.
Play one more time.
Maybe go for coffee with my friends and have a good chat.
So one of the things that's happening here is she has a lot of thought groups. And this is something I see with a lot of people who learned English. However, just because she has a lot of thought groups doesn't mean that they sound unnatural.
And have a good chat. Maybe go for coffee with my friends and have a good chat.
And the reason for that is that she's adding some variation in the pitch levels. It's very subtle, but she is moving the pitch around a little bit. And this is really key. If you have multiple short thought groups, try to create some separation by changing the pitch level as you go through this.
Maybe go for coffee with my friends.
Maybe go for coffee with my friends. Maybe go for coffee with my friends. Maybe go for coffee with my friends.
And have a good chat.
And have a good chat. And have a good chat. So you get to like and have. And then like when it gets to a good, it goes down a little bit lower in pitch. It's these little things that just help that sound more natural. Because if you don't have it, everything's going to sound very flat.
Maybe go for coffee with my friends. And
like maybe go for coffee with my friends. Maybe go for coffee with my friends. Maybe go for coffee with my friends. It's like something like that. Just these little subtle shifts down.
have a good chat.
And then after that, after friends, it goes up a little bit. Friends, and have a good chat, and have a good chat. Maybe have some coffee with my friends and have a good chat.
And have a good chat. Well, I'm quite social, so I like to.
A couple things here. What is she doing?
So I like to. Well, I'm quite social.
So it's like, well, that's her first thought group. And then she changes. I'm quite social. Notice how she says social. What is she doing? She's dragging it out. Notice what she's doing with the intonation as well.
Well, I'm quite social.
Like, so social takes up so much space. This refers back to that earlier point that we mentioned that when you have a stressed word, you want to add emphasis to. What can you do? You can drag it out longer. The other thing she's doing is she's adding a little bit of movement to her intonation pattern.
Well, I'm quite social.
So it's like so sure. I'm quite so sure. So just having that little movement and dragging out the word, these are things that you're going to hear native speakers doing a lot. This happens a lot in the middle of a sentence when there are more things that you want to say that you're not done talking. She hasn't finished yet. You expect something's going to come after this.
So I like to.
And you can use that. So I like to.
So I like to. Well, I'm quite social. So I like to.
You can also hear the pitch change. So again, well, I'm quite social. And then the next thought group goes higher. So I like to, you can hear the pitch go up. Okay. So that social was dragged out. It was a lower pitch. You could hear the intonation moving. And a lot of that indicated also that she was not done talking. So that next thought group went higher. So this is a nice little section to shadow.
Well, I'm quite social. So I like to.
As you shouted at, really try to hit the same pitches that she is, because this is the range that if you're trying to get those higher band scores, if you're looking for like a pronunciation score of like band 7 or something like that, these sorts of things help you sound so much more natural. Now let's move forward a bit.
Like I said, I'm. Yes, I definitely think so. Like I said, I'm.
Okay. So again, we have multiple thought groups. What are we seeing happen once more? We're seeing that as we go from one thought group to the next, we're seeing a progression downward in pitch.
Yes, I definitely think so. Like I said, I'm.
Yes, I definitely think so. You can hear that movement down, 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 down. Let's find another couple parts to take a look at.
A very
Really quick.
active and social person. A very active and social person.
Okay, this is a relatively common strategy too. So like she has her first point. It's like a very active, and then she wants to add new information. She's not content with just saying very active. No, there's more information that I want you or that she wants you to know. So how does she make that information stand out? Listen to how what happens when she says the and phrase.
A very active and social person.
A very active and social. Like this and social part is very heavy. It's also the noticeable shift in pitch. A very active and social person, like a very active and social person. So making sure that if you're adding that sort of information, that extra emphasis, you were talking and then you're like, oh, let me add this point. This is a strategy that you can use again that can sound very natural. It's like I'm a very active and social person. I'm a very active and social person. Something like that is very natural. It's not. You can tell if it doesn't sound natural, if it sounds like I'm a very active and social person. That's just, there's just, it's way too flat. There's not a lot of movement. The stresses aren't entirely clear. Versus if you're like, I'm a very active and social person, something like that. Now we've created a separation. We have two clear thought groups. We've shifted the pitch. We have the heavy falling intonation. Um, all of these things together add extra weight and emotion, and a natural quality to your speech. Let's listen to maybe one more section. And I hope as you're listening to these little parts, you're also kind of shadowing with her. I do want to remind you that if you would like to hear this full video, there's a couple different things you can do. If you go to fluentamerican.com and you click pod, you can get the audio podcast version of this shadowing episode that we're analyzing right now. Or if you go to fluentamerican.com, I mean, if you go to youtube.com, searching for Affluent American Shadowing, or maybe you already subscribed to the channel, I've also included it in the video details. You can find this video here. It's our latest video. So you'll be able to find it and you can listen to her as she gives answers. She's, again, a native speaker giving answers to IELTS type questions, in case that sounds like something you're interested in doing. Let's find maybe one last part to analyze and see what's happening.
That's an interesting question.
Okay, this is a nice phrase. So if you're trying to buy time, so examiner asks you a question, you want some time to think.
That's an interesting question.
That's an interesting question. That's an interesting question. So basically what this does is it just gives you some time. So a very effective strategy. It can be very helpful. What is she stressing?
That's an interesting question.
It's like she's going down. That's an interesting. And then she raises the pitch on question. That's an interesting question. That's an interesting question. That's an interesting question. So what that does is, again, that's a phrase that might be good to kind of, I don't want to say memorize, but say it a bunch of times and trying to get that same pattern, because that's a strategy that may be very helpful for you in a variety of contexts, whether you're taking an IELTS test, maybe you're just interacting with native speakers in a professional or a casual setting. Those things will be helpful. All right. So again, if you're interested in just kind of seeing what she does in the full video, again, I encourage you go to our shadowing channel. You can find the link in the video description. You can also, again, find the audio podcast version at fluentamerican.com. If you're interested in things like getting feedback for your pronunciation every single day of the week, our pronunciation group on Telegram is for you. Every single day, you can send in audio files, and every single day, I send you suggestions and feedback to sound more natural. So that's our very first option. We also have our Mission English program, where every day we meet at these times for 30 minutes in a small group class. So that way, if you want to work with me in an actual class online, it's a small group. There's usually about 3 other students with you or fewer, and all the classes are saved. You want to check out our Mission English program. And then finally, we have a consonant workshop that's looking at T's and L and R and L. T, R, L, and N. These are consonant sounds that have huge impacts on vowel sounds if you're not careful, leading you to sound less natural. For instance, if you can't hear the difference between like pull and pool, or if you have a hard time saying like look or Luke, or you don't like saying a word like rural or roar or girl or world and things like that, this is the workshop for you. We only have 2 spots left. You need to go to fluentamerican.com for the constant workshop. Guys, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you. We'll be back tomorrow with more Wake Up American, your daily American English pronunciation stream. My name is Jeff. It rhymes with breath. 1 to 4 keys to natural American English accent. I'll see you all later. Have a good day. Have a good night. Have a good afternoon. Bye.